Well, guys, today I'm hanging out with you in the Alabama undergrowth, and I have with me the Tops Knives Power Eagle, now with a saber grind. And we're going to see how it does at clearing out some of this brush. Let's hit it. Well, it looks like we made it out of the dense undergrowth of Alabama, and now I'm in the green foliage of rural Pennsylvania. That's right, guys. I've had this blade with me from the Gulf all the way up now to the northeastern part of the United States, and taken this on many adventures. So I have a really good feel for the Power Eagle now with that revised, redesigned blade with that low saber grind. Still got that 1/4 inch thickness, 12 inches from handle to tip, and 26 ounces of chopping power made right here in the USA. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. I will be putting this up and kind of talking in discussional points of one of my other loved large choppers that goes with me everywhere that I took on this adventure with my family, the Essie Hungles. So I will be competing and comparing it off and on through that, and particularly in competitive options. And we'll discuss where this excels and beats out the Essie, and where the Essie beats out and excels over the Power Eagle. So stay tuned. It's going to be one epically large, fun, iconic powerhouse. I don't know. I'm going to try and come up with like 1,000 different, words and ways to say it. Video. So let's dive right into the Power Eagle and see what it has going on. Okay, so first out of the gate, we got to look at that edge geometry, guys. This is freaking nuts. This is how you do a big chopper. This relief edge is excelente all the way through and done so well. It is stupid sharp. Right out of the box, ready to rock and roll. I hate it when I get a big, large chopper and then it's like as blunt as a crappy $20 hatchet. Like, it's super annoying, and then you gotta, because it's so much blade, at least a hatchet, is like 3 inches. I mean, when you got like 10 inches, 12 inches, you gotta reprofile and resharpen. It's such a headache. So it's awesome when out of the gate I can slash through paracord, rubber, man-made materials, and then make fuzz sticks right out of the gate. I mean, and it will just slice through greenery. So that part is all excellent. Very like bolo leaf shape design of this tool. Now, originally, when it was originally designed, it came with that full flat grind, which is very iconic and regular, what you would see in most machetes. And then recently, I think a couple years ago, they decided to bring the grind to a flat or saber. I call it a saber. Some people call it flat. Halfway down. And I think that was an excellent decision, because it not only did it just, I think, probably add a few ounces, maybe 1-2 ounces to it, giving it that 26 ounces of power, and is definitely like a blade heavy tool, but it strengthened it up a whole bunch and gave it kind of a leg up over a lot of full flat grind choppers and machetes that you see on the market. And so that's what I discovered, is though it is blade heavy, I'm going to try and show you the weight balance distribution here. There you go. So I mean, we got to go 2.5, almost 3 inches away from the handle to give me balance, just to offset the weight of that big front end blade. Now, what that means is, I mean, it's going to dive into wood like an Olympic swimmer. I mean, it's going to just boom and take a chunk out epically and in like no time flat. So I mean, that part is awesome. So for hard wood chopping, excellently done with that, because of the weight and the profile and the design that this has. So you're just going to chop like a monster and outperform most other machete style blades because of the weight, the front forward weight, and the geometry of the grind and the edge. So those things working together, and the 1/4 inch thickness as well. It's 1/4 inch thick with that 1095 steel made in America. And it's been awesome to go to the Tops factory and actually see how they do that process. It's excellent. And they have the same guy basically who's been doing that for like 20 years, which is just super cool. So that's that powder coated. It's holding up well. just to fight off that rust. No 90-degree spine, but you could obviously, you know, easily grind that off and get a spot where if you did want to throw sparks with this guy, you could easily do that. Batoning, as you've seen, is just like a breeze. It's so easy to do it. It feels like you're doing it with like a fro because of the way it's designed. It just, boom, cleaves open the wood. So if you need a batoning tool, you like batoning with your fixed blades, this now is even more reliable than the original because of the saber grind, and outclasses in strength a lot of other large blades because of that differential heat treat they do, now 1/4 inch thick with the lower saber grind, all those things doing excellently. Really the only area where you're gonna see, and we'll touch more on this in a moment, a de-acceleration of use, if you will, hopefully that's making sense, is in long extended actual machete work, where you just have it in your hand and you're just going through the woods, the jungle, over and over again. It's heavy, it's fatiguing. Now it's gonna just clear like crazy, but it's so front heavy and it kind of fatigues your forearm, and you're gonna wear out yourself a lot more than, say, an Essie Hungalis, which has a thinner grind, it weighs less, and is more centered of gravity on the weight. That makes it feel a little bit more like it's part of your hand instead of more like a hatchet. This operates when it comes to chopping and swinging, and it feels a lot more like a light hatchet than it does an actual like long machete. So just consider that when you're thinking about the tool and whether or not it's something to use. But for the style, it has a class of its own because of the way it has now been reimagined with the lower grind and just how big it is overall. All right, let's hit this handle. My Micarta handle scales, great dimensions. I'm very happy with the overall design. Here's why. We got nice thick handles, little bit of hills and valleys, recessed screws so they're not popping out and causing any hot spots. 3 lanyard holes, 1, 2, 3, and it came with these 2 runs of shock cord, which allows me to run my hand in like that, even with leather gloves on, and now I am locked into place for extended chopping, and I don't need a secondary, you know, cord flopping around, paracord lanyard, and then, you know, running it backwards. This allows me to do that. I would love to see more large choppers do this because it gives me that really good option, and the fact that it came that way from the factory was excellent. So really happy with that. We got some red liners with that kind of tan. My Micarta fills out my large size hands so well. Good large neck here that kind of tapers out, and then we have a fully enclosed bird beak Micarta handle back there, so that really contours. You know, if it was exposed metal, that could really cause some vibrations, or if it was very abrupt, it's nice and rounded, good platform on the back there, and then a very deep guard so that if I am doing a piercing, if I am doing just different motions that are very large, I'm very in control. And I even get a little bit of a thumb ramp with a few hits of jimping that are not sharp and contoured with my Micarta, so that all feels great. As an added bonus, this neck portion is a little narrow here, and they have a very large sharpening ricasso there, which means, as we've been kind of talking and, you know, discussing a little bit with Essie Hungalis, and we'll discuss more here momentarily, a lot of large choppers, if they have a big ricasso, the blade is so fat, it's awkward and very uncomfortable. This feels very organic, and I can grip the tool and use it very easily in a choked up format. Even though that's not a dedicated choil, it feels like it, and it feels very natural, so I can get up and do work. Even though it's very blade heavy, it allows me to manipulate smaller tasks down here near the edge a lot easier than if it wasn't, and a lot easier in my opinion than the grip that I have to do with the Essie Hungalis if I want to do something like that. Now sadly, it's coming with, yep, you guessed it, a nylon sheath. Now I do have to give kudos to Tops. They are cranking out leather and kydex sheaths like never before in their new designs, and they are excellent. And they're doing kydex oftentimes with huge, very uniquely shaped blades, so that is excellent. I would love in the future to see a kydex sheath on this blade. It would become epic as a full, complete package. As it stands, it gets the job done, but just barely. We have 2 paracord lashing loops right here and right there, so you could make it 3-jump compatible because it does have 1 big strip of Velcro. It'd be great to have even just like a closer to the neck adjustable button snap, kind of like what Ontario used to do. At least that would be doable. The insert is fine, so it's ambidextrous. You can pull it out, you know, and rotate it, so righties and lefties, it'll at least work, so that's a good thing. You know, huge PALS webbing panel out the back, so again, you can lash it to packs and things like that. And then you do have 2 pockets. Now this is another kind of interesting thing. We have a storage pocket with nothing in it up front here. Then it comes with the Alert XL fixed blade. And I don't know why. I don't know why this knife comes with this knife. It's super thick piece of metal with like a 1.5, maybe 2 inch edge right there. Really good for only one thing. That's it. That's all it's really good for. I tried cutting some stuff with it and it wouldn't do really anything. I mean, the edge is fine, but it's so thick and short that like I can't cut cardboard with it. I can't really cut paracord with it. You know, can't carve with it, can't make a feather stick with it. It's really for stabbing. That's all it's designed for. I mean, it fills out my hand really nicely. And if I need something like that, sure. Got a polymer sheath around a neck knife that definitely holds it in place and, you know, has like a little pop disconnect. I don't know what these go for, but I don't get why that is attached to that knife. If anything, give us like a 3-inch, 1/8 of an inch thick, full flat grind little neck knife with no paracord on it that we could wrap paracord if we want. That makes total sense. So if you're gonna do the combo, do that. Then it's like a one-stop shop. You have the giant, you know, machete, and then you have the little neck knife to get the fine carving work done, and it all comes together. Wham, bam, thank you, tops. So I don't really understand the Alert XL. I'm sure there was some logic behind that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Would never carry it in there. It just weighs down the blade, and it's extra expense that, in my opinion, should be put back into a Kydex sheath, preferably, or at bare minimum, just swap it out with the same, you know, quantity of steel, just in a thin, full flat grind style blade, you know, to really make sense for us, the user, in a more of a woodscraft sense. So, comes with that. Don't know what you're gonna do with it, but it's there. And the sheath gets the job done, but just barely. So now it's time to talk pricing and competitive options, particularly as it compares to maybe the beloved SE Hungless. And I will have a bunch of hyperlinks for you guys below so that you can make a wise choice. If the Hungless, if the Power Eagle, or some of the blade altogether is the right choice, I'll have a couple competitive options in the large chopping arena that I like, that I use, in all those hyperlinks below. Appreciate it when you use those if a blade like this makes sense for you. Now, I'm gonna use Blade HQ as our plumb line because it has it both in stock here in 2022, summer of this year. And the Tops Power Eagle is gonna go currently for about $230. Now, the SE Hungless is gonna go for about $185. So we're talking about a $45 increase over the SE Hungless. It's 2 inches longer, it has a lower saber grind, and it's thicker. And so we could easily argue that that can be made up in just the sheer materials alone. Honestly, if it came with a Kydex sheath, I would think it was an amazing deal with the Power Eagle. As it stands, you know, you'll have to weigh the pros and cons with what I'm about to share with you. If you are looking for a straight up machete to do machete work, that means long sweeps, long extended cutting tasks through greenery and light material, the SE Hungless wins easily. It's very nimble, it's very light, at 3/16 of an inch thick, and at 10 inches, it's a quick, nimble tool, slice through the greenery, and it just won't fatigue your arm as quickly as the Power Eagle. On the flip side, if you are looking for where I actually tend to spend more of my time in heavy, dense wood that you are either chopping down trees, delimbing large branches, and cracking open wood and batoning regularly, the Power Eagle wins easily because it's not only a little bit longer, so you have longer reach to be able to span larger logs because of the thicker spine and lower grind angle now with this saber makes it epic and iconic for splitting open wood. And so I hope that that helps better, you know, clarify for you guys, depending on the scenario, depending on what you need out of your tool, sheer power and strength on heavier, denser wood, the Power Eagle is the powerhouse. If it's lighter, quicker, nimble cuts for longer periods of time, the SE Hungless I would tend to go with. So there you have it, guys. I hope that this video has been fun and entertaining, but also giving you the data that you need to determine for yourself what environment, what scenario you need an extra large blade to perform in, and whether or not this Power Eagle is the right tool for you. I look forward to seeing all the comments below as well. Feel free, if I missed something or if you have a question, leave that comment as well. Leave a thumbs up. That always helps the algorithm when you guys comment and leave thumbs up. It helps me just continue to do what I do, and that's a simple, easy way to do that. So appreciate you guys so much. Check out the other video popping up. Subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.